The further you delve into the warped landscape, the less you recall. You walk for days with only an old donkey as a traveling companion. Hillside fortresses, endless woods, and an obscured lake rise and fall to the wayside. You reach Naira. You will need more than a faithful steed to aid you, however. Take heed of the curios that enter your view. Use them well, or learn from them quickly. They have much to say in deafening silence. The landscape of Leyre, from coastline to mountain range, holds many strange and altered sights. Scattered among each of these strange locations are a plethora of wonderful and worrying items that describe lands far away and the way things work within Leyre. As with any beginning, we must see who will be starting their journey, and with many games, what they start with. In Leyre, we have 4 people or professions to choose from: City Warden, Deacon of the Voices, Tormented Traveller, and Viscera Expert. Each of these people seem to be traveling the same direction, but for different reasons, and with them is their starting item. For the City Warden, a humble guard with a military past, they carry a hunting bow, though, to note, iron is in such short supply, the arrowheads are recovered from previous arrows and battles. For the Deacon, a silent shell. It seems to aid the voice of the Empress to guide you. The shell has 2 openings, one that brings the inside out, and the other that brings the world outside in. Whatever this means is hard to say exactly, but it seems a type of conduit for the hallowed powers. The Tormented Traveller carries worn coins. You don't know where they came from, and looking upon the coins' partly erased faces makes you feel better. An odd, comforting item, but also gives the impression the Tormented Traveller is very much an outsider, perhaps one even beyond the idea of the lands, from realms or other realities, but this is speculation for the moment. Finally, the Doctor, Viscera Expert, has their reading equipment, which you'll immediately notice is a sewing needle and scissors. It is about the geometries of the flesh, and somehow, in stitching or using these tools on bodies, Viscera Experts are able to read the sins of the Empress. How this functions mechanically is hard to say, but I think quite literally this item allows the Viscera Expert to divine or augur things from bodies. A powerful tool if you have the skill to wield it. Having chosen your path and gear, travel begins, leaving the worm-ridden shores of Gorilli westward towards the forest. Here, the voice of the Empress is but a whisper. More likely, you will hear the sounds of critters scurrying in the distance, and if in need of slumber or peace of thought, the sound of a scarlet flute, an Imperial-era instrument that is said to cloud the mind and numb it. This item, as mentioned in previous videos, seems to be used in conjunction with another to allow an endgame state or scenario, at least one of them. Deeper still, you may come across evidence of the elves, beings much unlike those we would assume. Bluish faces that eye off the best pieces of a person's body to use for their own horrid designs. One such fate befell a giant whose pelvis became that of an ornate axe, impressive in craftsmanship and size, no doubt. By the lake of Lurana, the waters of Kalem, where it is said people would enter to forget their past, being purified and anew in front of the empresses. the theme of reflections appearing once again, but it also appears quite literally. There is a reflected world or version that can exist of things, duplications. In these waters glimmer rings. These rings allow the wearer to acquire other memories, and in doing so, forget their own horrid traumas. Other items are among abandoned houses, such as silver rapiers that reflect light to blind foes, used by the Nyion forces, utilizing trickery, a common trait of the Nyion, it seems, in altering things to their favor. However, within Nyion, there may be unexpected results due to some other items crafted for special guards. As the sea, reflections, and the voice seem to be reoccurring elements of the hallowed power, Nyion devised helmets made of abyssal shells, indestructible protection that also allows the wearer to hear them as silent shells, like the deacon has, meaning the guards are in constant contact with the voice. Here lies the potency of these items. However, as over time it is said, guards rebuilt their original bonds with other entities, some of which are known to the twins. This description suggests a lot, that beyond the death god, beyond the twin empresses and the voice, there are other entities, which the twins also know, or at least know of, and don't know. These sentry helmets could result in a lot of inner turmoil for the wearers, as well as the guards themselves that house them. No greater rebellion than one motivated by a rival god. Evidence of these other entities is seen within another, coincidentally, heretical item called the Shield of the Pits. This shield, which appears to be the back of a human torso, has a carving in it which secretes a enzyme or liquid that causes a reckless frenzy. This is a regenerating leather shield dedicated to the god Ephiderma, most likely based on epidermis, the outermost layer of skin. I see you, Nicola, with your body autonomy naming conventions. Much respect. I feel that. Now, though some other items remain unspoken, there is one in particular, the last page of the book, that I wish to cover. The Light of Reason. Garo's amulet that undoes the effects of the most hallowed voice by freeing a swarm of blue spirits. An extremely powerful device against all magics, but it amplifies the putrescent curse. In its description, it reads, "While the army tried to resist Nyion, many sacrificed themselves to let the kingdom survive. The properties of these talismans are the result of Lin's inhabitants' inherent ability to resist Western magic." The kingdom of Gairo, the people of Lin, already able to resist foreign magics, were brutally invaded by an outside force vying for land and power alone. Yet Gairo's resistance, even in death, lingers on, and in a way punishes the twin empresses, Nyion, with an instability in their own world. Their view and views have been forcibly changed by the sickness, wrought of their own actions. Instead of dealing with them, they slumber. And though much becomes warped with this curse, the voice, the dead can still remember. The lives lost still remain here in this talisman, and can empower those who would resist the twisted dreams of a selfish power unwilling to fade or change. It seems quite interesting that this suggests that there is magic just as an element that everyone sort of understands. And reading through the book again, it does seem that there are other entities that exist, and there are clashes of them, and that this external force of Nyion has kind of swept in, pillaged, and then has just caused decay and refuses to aid it. And of course, the people that were invaded, wish for peace or retribution. Anyway, these are just my thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. Guys are amazing. And yeah, I've been Haunted Picnic, and I'll see you all next time.